Tribe, what's going on, fam? In this quick video, I want to talk about how to get lean, right? And more importantly, how do you actually sustain being lean once you've actually gotten to your goal, right? And the reason why I want to bring up this conversation, because I remember one time I was at a tech conference back when I was running my startup, and I seen one of the judges at a coffee shop in a hotel where the conference is held, right? So I approached him, and obviously, I figured he was going to be a judge. Let me get to talking with this guy, and let me see what's going on, and let me just introduce myself. And so we got to small talking, and he asked me, okay, so you guys are running the startup, what do you do on the side? And I told him, I was a trainer on the side. And he was like, yeah, that's what's up, but I love to get in shape, but the problem is you got to do all that work to get there, and then you got to do all that work to stay that way, and that doesn't work for me. Now, this was kind of funny because I wasn't going to go into trying to convince him on why he should be in shape, but it was definitely an interesting concern of his, because I know that this is a concern for a lot of guys, especially if you're busy, right? Like, if I'm going to put in all this work to get in shape, and then I'm going to have to put in all the work to sustain it, is it really worth it? And so what I want to talk about is, number one, what does getting lean actually look like? And number two, what are the couple of steps that you can do to sustain getting lean once you've already got to your goal? And so first thing I'm gonna do is talk about what getting lean is. And I'm gonna just be straight up. For most guys, getting lean is getting to 10% body fat. Now, that may look different for you based on your body and where how your body fat is distributed, but usually between 14 and 10% body fat, that's lean. Like if you're trying to get six pack, you're looking at below 11%, maybe 8 or 9% body fat. And so for a lot of guys, in order to do this, bro, you got to resistance train. You got to make sure that your nutrition is on point, and you got to be committed for weeks and weeks and months on months, sometimes potentially even years, right? But if you're able to actually follow through and stay consistent, you will reach your goal. Like, it's possible. It's 100% possible. It's been done millions of times, right? But when you reach your goal, how do you actually sustain it, right? And so this is something that I sometimes get questions from my clients that are finishing up my programs. We have a whole system set up for that, but I want to talk about a couple of different steps that you can take if you're at that point where you want to sustain the results, or if you're putting in the work right now and you want to have the level of foresight to understand how to smash these goals as well as how to sustain them with your lifestyle. All right, so let's get into it. So the first things first is, when it comes to maintenance and sustaining, you don't need to work out at the same level of intensity that you did when you were first looking to get in shape, right? And the reason why is because you really just need to work out to prevent your muscles to go into what we call atrophy. Atrophy is when your body pretty much picks up this sense that, hey, I don't need to be producing and sustaining all this muscle mass anymore, so I'm not going to do the proper functions, and I'm not going to go through the proper protein synthesis in order to uphold the mass that they have, and as a result, your muscles start to shrink, your body begins to get a little bit weaker. And so while you don't need to train at the same level of intensity, you do need to just train at some sort of intensity that keeps your muscles consistently being stretched and teared, as well as allowing them to grow back and recover in the same rate. That's just gonna keep and maintain where you are, all right? So you still gotta train with intensity, but not that high level of intensity that you did, right? You can go down to a 3-4 day a week schedule if you're just looking to maintain. It's definitely doable, and you can definitely keep your size. You can definitely keep, your body fat percentage where it is, okay? Now, the second aspect is nutrition. Your nutrition can get flexible, right? But you don't want to be too far off, right? You don't want to be too overindulgent once you've already hit your goal. Now, the reason why I say nutrition can get flexible is because if you went from, let's just say, 20% body fat to 12% body fat in the course of 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, right? Your body has metabolically had to change. And if your body's metabolically changed or improved, the way that you take food and turn it into fuel is gonna be a little bit different than when you were at 20% body fat, right? And so what you wanna do is still be flexible, right? Because you don't wanna develop a stressful relationship with food, right? Don't develop a toxic relationship with food. You want to just simply make sure that you're being flexible, but you're still following your macros. Your macros allows you to have your proteins, carbs, and fats split out, where that ratio is efficient enough for you to leverage protein for protein synthesis, as well as carbs and fats for fuel and energy for working out, as well as just your basic everyday functions. Now, this is important because if you start to overindulge in carbs or fats just too much, or you're not getting enough protein, again, it's going to put your body in a position where you can't really sustain all that you've gained over the last couple of months or even a couple of years. So let's go to number 3, right? Choose a split that makes sense. right? When I say a split that makes sense, are you doing 3 full body days a week? Are you doing chest and back, right? Maybe you're doing upper body split, a low body split. Choose a split that simply makes sense where you can train with, again, the right amount of intensity and it matches your schedule. I know that when I'm in maintenance mode, I train for about 3 to 4 days a week. Now, if I train for only 3 days a week, I'm usually doing full body strength training, right? If I'm training for about 4, then I'll start to segment my lifts into more of like different splits for my upper body and different splits for my lower body. But you will want to choose a workout split that makes sense for your schedule, your lifestyle, you're traveling a lot, right? And so just having that level of a mindset to make those minor adjustments to be like, yo, you know what? I'm going in a busy season with the business, right? It's better for me to scale down to 3 days a week, but in each of those 3 days, I'm a strength train, right? And so that's just an example of making sure that you find a split that makes sense. And by making sense, I mean, you're training with enough intensity and you're able to stay consistent with it. All right, so let's go into number 4. Your recovery protocols still apply, bro. You're still gonna need to get your sleep. Okay, you're still going to need to recover. You're still going to need to warm up. All right, so be very mindful that you don't want to fall off in recovery when you go into maintenance mode. Now, here's the thing. Is your recovery going to taper down a little bit? Absolutely, because you're not training 5 or 6 days a week like you were when you were still at 20% body fat, right? You've reached your goal, so you don't have to train as much to sustain it. So as a result, you don't have to spend so much time or energy inside of recovery. But you don't want to start pulling all-nighters and start treating your body like shit, because that will be counterproductive towards sustaining those gains, right? And lastly, number 5, know your seasons, bro, right? When you go through that first process of really getting in shape, right? And then you hit that point where you feel good, know your seasons. Know when it's a season to do three workouts a week versus when it's a season to get back on. Because you don't want to be tapering off so much that you just kind of get laxed and you start to lose the results that you're in, right? And so a big part of that is simply knowing the seasons around when you want to give your body rest, you know what I'm saying, versus like when you want to go hard, when you want to be kind of moderate. You know what I'm saying? For me, I took a vacation the other day and I was just like, yo, I'm not going to work out for the whole week. I was like, I've been working out each week consistently for like the last 6 months. Like I can actually take a week off and just not work out at all. Like I had to force myself not to work out, right? And so just know your seasons. Know when it's time to trying to get back in the game and go a little bit more hard. Know when it's time to taper back, right? Align that with your lifestyle. And again, that all comes from awareness, and it all comes from the mindset of being a fit guy, of being a guy who's lean, right? The biggest thing is if you can transform your mindset to be where you need to be, you're always going to be able to make the necessary adjustments. All right. And so that's really it, guys. How to get lean, what getting lean actually looks like, right? Again, for a lot of guys, it's 10% body fat. If you're over the 20% body fat range, then getting lean for you may just be getting down to the teens in your body fat percentage, right? It's definitely going to be a huge difference in the amount of weight. And the reason why I use body fat percentage as a marker here, guys, is because body fat percentage because you also lose muscle when you lose weight. And I really, really want to make sure that that's something that we touch upon, because I'd rather you lose body fat percentage than lose a bunch of weight, because body fat percentage is what you actually see. And the lower your body fat percentage is, the more you can actually see your cuts, your tones, your muscles, your definition. And that's the goal that we're all going for. We're all not trying to just be skinny, right? Or look like, marathon runners or something. We want to have a nice physique where we look toned and we look defined. And so that's going to happen through dropping the body fat percentage. So listen, I hope this was helpful. If you're at the point where you are really smashing your goals, take these into consideration. Make sure that you're staying consistent. Make sure that you know your seasons and you're doing the things that we discussed here. Now, if you're at the point where it's like, yo, I still gotta get in shape, Elijah. You guys know I'm the founder of the Grindtribe. We are the #1 fitness and health optimization platform for Black and brown men and entrepreneurs. And if you're looking for a community of men and you're looking for a plan and a roadmap that's going to allow you to week over week and month over month follow a simple process to build muscle and lose fat to get to where you want to be, then listen, we may have a couple of slots open for coaching, right? Depending on the time that you're watching this video. We will have our link below. Check out our case studies, put in the application and work with us, and we'll see how we can get you to the results even faster, bro. We'll tap in soon. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. If you guys found some value from this video, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to share with somebody that you feel might see the value. We'll talk soon, fam. Peace.